Let's start with the game I'm going to be at. Big noon Saturday, big noon kickoff. We're going to be live at Cincinnati. Looking forward to seeing Cincinnati, there's no doubt. This is the first Big 12 game for Cincinnati, so they enter the league, and here we are. First Big 12 game for them in the last season in the Big 12 for Oklahoma, the team that has largely owned the Big 12 since its formation in the late 90s. All right, lots of Big 12 talk. When I look at this game, I look at Oklahoma first and foremost as a team that, to be candid, I think is a little undervalued at this point. You've heard me all week talk about above-the-line teams, below-the-line teams, about how in college football over the last, let's say, decade plus, we've had that line right at about 2, maybe 3 teams in the sport that we really believe can win a national championship. I believe that this year that line has been lowered way down to 9, 10, maybe even 11. Now, should be noted, at this point in the year, Oklahoma, I wouldn't consider to be an above-the-line team, but that can change. If there was a team out there that is not in the top 11 that I think could make a deep playoff run, or make a playoff run, it wouldn't be a deep because there's only 4 teams, but make a playoff run, and potentially make some noise, OU is one of those teams. Remember, and I told you this in the offseason, this is a team that lost a lot of close ball games last year. I believe 6 of them. 1-possession games. That could easily go the opposite way, and then boom, all of a sudden you're a 10-11 win team. The games that they didn't play well and lost by more than a possession were the games that Dillon Gabriel was either hurt or didn't play. Okay, so with a healthy Dillon Gabriel, now all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they're deeper at wide receiver. They're probably deeper at running back, although the running back position hasn't really come to fruition yet this season. And the defense, which was horrid a year ago, seems to be a lot better. I still have my concerns with their secondary, and I think Sooner fans, you would probably agree with me that the concerns lie with the secondary. They bolstered their defensive front 7, namely the defensive line, through the transfer portal, and I like what they did at linebacker. So here's this team. They're ranked 16th in the country right now, and yet I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it's not a shoo-in that Texas beats Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, I think, is better than most teams in the Big 12 outside of that matchup against Texas. So if you're looking for a team right now that might be a little undervalued as it relates to the playoff, as it relates to a conference championship, Oklahoma might be that team. Dillon Gabriel has had a really strong start to the season. I like the way that he's playing. He leads the country in completion percentage, just over 82%. He's coming off a 400-yard game, 5 touchdowns in that win over Tulsa. And this Cincy defense, they're a great test for a quarterback. If you look at the Cincy defense, they're holding quarterbacks to about 45% completion percentage. That's 3rd in the nation. So we're going to find out about Dillon Gabriel if this quality start to the season was just about the level of competition or if it was something that has more staying power. Now, I believe that it has more staying power, but we'll see this Saturday. Bearcats coming off a really frustrating and candidly bad loss to Miami of Ohio. That was an overtime loss. After they had beat Pitt on the road, you feel like they had some momentum there. They're going into their first season in the Big 12. That's a disappointing thing. They had too many miscues, in particular in the red zone. I like the receivers for Oklahoma. They have Jalil Farouk is still there. Nick Anderson, who, by the way, is Rodney Anderson's brother. Rodney Anderson, I just love because Gus used to call him, like, as he would get going in games, Rodney Anderson would break off like a nice little run, and Gus would say, Mr. Anderson. And I was like, man, Gus is the best. Andrell Anthony transferred in from Michigan. Remember, he was a guy that I thought a lot of after that. He really broke on the scene against Michigan State a few years ago. He's at OU, and he's done a nice job. I believe he got 14 catches. Drake Stoops, got to love that. I will say this, though, for OU. This is a team that has got to prove to itself that it can get over the hump because they started quality last year. I remember doing that game against Nebraska. Unfortunately, Gus didn't join me for the second half, but that's neither here nor there. I thought, you know what? This OU team is really, really good. So they were 3-0 last year, and then they finished 3-7 from that point out. This team currently is a top 5 scoring offense and a top 5 scoring defense. Is this the OU that we came to appreciate and know for the last 2 decades? Or is this a team that is not quite there? I believe that this week we'll find out a lot about this team. I do like OU. Emory Jones, by the way, he's the QB for Cincinnati. He went to Florida and ASU. He's been at a bunch of different places. He ran for over 100 yards last week, so something to watch out for in that game. All right, that's OU and Cincinnati. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.